Every morning when you wake up, before you grab your phone, before the world starts demanding things from you, before you check what everyone else is doing, you need to tell yourself this one powerful truth: I am in control of my day. Because here's the reality: most people roll out of bed already reacting. They wake up and immediately check notifications. They start their day chasing emails, scrolling feeds, comparing themselves to strangers, and letting other people's lives dictate their mood. And then they wonder why they feel overwhelmed, behind, and drained before noon. It's because they gave control of their day away before they even stood up. Saying I am in control of my day is not some fluffy affirmation. It's a command. It's a reminder that the way you show up, the way you think, the way you act is your responsibility. You can't control everything that happens around you. You can't control other people. You can't control every problem that's going to hit you. But you can always control how you respond. You can control your energy. You can control what you focus on. You can control whether you let the day own you or you own it. When you declare I am in control of my day, you're deciding that your emotions don't get to run the show. You're deciding that distractions don't get to run the show. You're deciding that other people's opinions don't get to run the show. You're choosing to be the driver, not the passenger. Think about the difference between a day where you're in control and a day where you're not. On the days you're not in control, everything feels chaotic. You hit snooze, you rush, you scroll, you eat whatever's fast, you react to everyone else's urgency. And before you know it, it's night, you're exhausted, and you didn't actually move the needle on the things that matter. You survived the day, but you didn't own it. Now imagine the days when you're in control. You wake up and set your mind before the world can get to it. You decide what your priorities are instead of waiting for someone else to hand them to you. You make time for yourself, even if it's just 5 minutes. You do the thing that moves you closer to your goals before distractions creep in. That kind of day feels different. You end it with pride instead of regret. Control is not about perfection. It's not about having every second scheduled. It's about deciding what matters most and actually giving your energy to it instead of letting the day steal it away. It's about setting boundaries with your time and your attention so you're not at the mercy of every notification, every drama, every distraction. When you wake up and tell yourself, I am in control of my day, you're creating a mental filter. That filter asks you, does this move me forward or not? Does this give me energy or drain me? Does this align with what I said matters today? Or is it just noise? That filter keeps you from getting lost in meaningless activity and reminds you to do the things that actually matter. And here's the thing: control is a choice you make every single morning. Some people wait for motivation to hit them before they take action. They wait to feel ready. They wait for the perfect circumstances. And because they wait, life ends up controlling them. But the people who actually move forward are the ones who understand that control isn't about waiting. It's about choosing. Choosing to do the hard thing when you don't feel like it. Choosing to focus when it would be easier to scroll. Choosing to take ownership of your time, your effort, and your mindset. Say it to yourself: I am in control of my day. Say it before your feet hit the ground. Because if you don't, your day will decide for you who's in control, and it won't be you. It'll be your phone. It'll be your inbox. It'll be that coworker who always has an emergency. It'll be the endless chaos of the world pulling you in every direction. But when you step into the day knowing you're in control, you show up differently. You walk into problems with clarity instead of panic. You protect your priorities instead of letting them get buried. You stop saying, I didn't have time, because you realize time isn't something you find, it's something you take. And the only way you take it is by deciding I am in control of my day. You don't need to control everything to feel powerful. You just need to control yourself, your focus, your actions, your response. That's where real strength is. That's how you build momentum. That's how you create the kind of days that turn into the kind of life you actually want to live. Because here's the truth: every day is either a deposit or a withdrawal. Every day you either take steps toward your vision or you let yourself drift further away. The people who get where they want to go aren't the ones who had perfect days. They're the ones who kept choosing to take control of their days over and over again until it became who they are. And it starts every single morning with you reminding yourself that no matter what the world throws at you, no matter what noise tries to steal your attention, no matter what distractions try to pull you away, you are in control of your day. Fear is one of the most powerful forces in your life. It's invisible, it's sneaky, and most of the time you don't even realize how much it's steering your decisions. Fear is the reason you stay quiet when you want to speak up. Fear is the reason you hold back when you know you could go all in. Fear is the reason you stay stuck in situations that drain you instead of stepping into the unknown. When you wake up every day and declare, I refuse to let fear make my choices, you're breaking the chain that holds so many people back. You're taking away fear's steering wheel. Because here's the truth: fear doesn't just visit you in moments of crisis. It shows up in little decisions, in subtle hesitations, in those quiet excuses you make to yourself. And if you don't call it out, it runs your life without you even realizing it. Think about how many choices in your life have been shaped by fear. Not applying for that opportunity because you might fail. Not walking away from that toxic relationship because you're scared of being alone. Not starting the project that's been burning in your mind because you're terrified of what people will say. Fear convinces you that comfort is safety, but what it's really doing is keeping you small. Fear whispers worst-case scenarios in your ear. It tells you, don't do it, you'll embarrass yourself. Don't try, you'll fall flat. Don't speak up, you'll get rejected. And the problem is, if you listen to that voice enough, you start to believe it. You start living your life inside a cage you didn't even realize you built. And that cage isn't locked, it's just guarded by fear. Refusing to let fear make your choices doesn't mean you'll never feel afraid. Fear is human. Fear is part of being alive. But courage is not the absence of fear. It's deciding to move anyway. It's looking fear in the eye and saying, you don't get to decide what I do today. Here's the truth most people don't want to admit. Fear is not the problem. The problem is letting fear make your decisions for you. Fear can show up, but it doesn't get to vote. Fear can scream, but it doesn't get to steer. You are the one who decides. You are the one in charge of what you do, not that voice in your head trying to keep you safe by keeping you stuck. Every time you make a choice out of fear, you shrink. You trade possibility for certainty. You give up growth for safety. But every time you make a choice in spite of fear, you expand. You grow stronger. You prove to yourself that you are bigger than your doubts. And that proof compounds. The more times you act in spite of fear, the less power fear has over you. Fear will never disappear completely, but it will get quieter the more you practice courage. And that courage doesn't come from waiting for confidence. It comes from action. Confidence is the result, not the requirement. You take the leap, you do the thing, you speak the truth, and then you realize the world didn't end. That's how you build the muscle of courage. Fear loves to trick you into waiting. It tells you, just wait until you're ready. Wait until it feels safe. Wait until you're certain. But that moment never comes. Readiness is a lie fear uses to keep you in place. The only way to be ready is to start before you feel ready. The only way to break fear's grip is to prove to yourself with action that you can move forward anyway. And think about this. Every decision you've ever made out of fear, did it actually give you the life you wanted? Or did it just keep you stuck where you are, avoiding risk, avoiding rejection, avoiding judgment? It might feel safe in the moment, but it robs you of growth, of opportunity, of freedom. The safest choice in the moment often becomes the most painful choice in the long run. So when you say, I refuse to let fear make my choices, you're drawing a line. You're declaring that your vision is stronger than your doubts. You're reminding yourself that discomfort is temporary, but regret is forever. You're saying, I will not let fear dictate the story of my life. Fear will always knock. It will always try to sit at the table, but you don't have to give it a seat. You don't have to hand it the microphone. You don't have to let it vote on your future. Every time you choose courage over fear, you take back your power. Every time you act in spite of fear, you write a new chapter of your story, one where you are the author, not fear. So the next time fear shows up when you're about to make a choice, pause, notice it, call it out, and then ask yourself, if I wasn't afraid, what would I do right now? That question cuts right through the noise. That question shows you the truth. And once you see the truth, the only real question left is, will you choose fear or will you choose yourself? One of the hardest truths to accept in life is this: you don't always get what you work for. You get what you believe you deserve. That's the filter through which every decision is made, every boundary is set, every dream is pursued. You can grind for years, but if deep down you believe you're unworthy of happiness, success, love, or peace, you'll find a way to sabotage it. You'll settle, you'll shrink, you'll hand over your life to doubt. This is why you need to wake up every single morning and declare, I deserve the life I'm building. Not tomorrow, not when you've achieved more, not when you're perfect today. Right now. Because here's the truth, you're not waiting to become worthy. You already are. But most of us were raised on a diet of self-doubt. Maybe someone told you weren't enough. Maybe you grew up watching people settle for less than they wanted. Maybe every time you tried to step up, someone cut you down. And those messages burrow into your brain. They become the story you tell yourself. And if you don't rewrite that story, it will run your life. Think about the times you've wanted something deeply but talked yourself out of it. You wanted to start the business, but you told yourself you're not smart enough. You wanted to ask for the promotion, but you convinced yourself you're not experienced enough. You wanted to leave the toxic relationship, but you whispered, who else would love me? Those weren't logical decisions. They were decisions rooted in unworthiness. And here's what you need to know. Worthiness is not a prize you earn. It's a truth you accept. The life you're building, the career, the love, the health, the freedom. It's not something reserved for special people. It's for anyone willing to claim it. The only difference between people who have it and people who don't isn't luck. It's belief. They believed they deserved it and they acted from that place. When you don't believe you deserve the life you're building, you'll sabotage yourself. You'll procrastinate. You'll quit halfway. You'll let fear and guilt dictate your choices. But when you do believe you deserve it, You start showing up differently. You stop apologizing for wanting more. You stop shrinking yourself to fit other people's comfort zones. You start saying no to the things that drain you and yes to the things that grow you. You have to train your brain to recognize that worthiness is not about what you've achieved. It's about what you're willing to allow yourself to step into. That means when the voice in your head says, "Who are you to want this?" you answer back, "Who am I not to?" When doubt whispers, "You don't belong here," you remind yourself, "I've earned every step forward." And let's be real, believing you deserve the life you're building is not about arrogance. It's not about entitlement. It's about responsibility. If you want better, you have to take responsibility for building better. If you want peace, you have to cut out the chaos. If you want success, you have to work for it, yes, but also allow yourself to receive it when it shows up. So many people work hard but never receive. Why? Because the moment opportunities knock, they hide. The moment love arrives, they push it away. The moment success shows up, they downplay it. They've been so conditioned to feel unworthy that they don't know how to live inside the life they're building. And that's why this affirmation matters so much. When you wake up and say, "I deserve the life I'm building," you're priming your mind to accept the opportunities, relationships, and growth that are already aligning for you. Think of it like this: your life is a construction site. Every day you're laying bricks with your choices. The question is, do you believe you're worthy of the house you're building? Because if you don't, you'll cut corners. You'll leave walls unfinished. You'll invite people in who vandalize the work. But if you do, you'll protect it. You'll invest in it. You'll keep showing up even when it's hard because you know the life you're building is worth it. And so are you. You can't keep waiting for someone else to validate you. Nobody's going to show up with a stamp of approval saying, "Okay, now you're allowed to live the life you want." That's your job. That's your decision. Every morning when you tell yourself, "I deserve the life I'm building," you're reclaiming that authority. You're saying, "This life is mine. This dream is mine, and I'm worthy of it, even if nobody else believes it yet." And here's the kicker: when you believe you deserve the life you're building, you stop settling for the life you're trying to escape. You stop tolerating toxic people, dead-end jobs, unhealthy habits. You stop making excuses for why you can't, and you start focusing on how you can. Because you know you're not asking for too much, you're asking for what you've already earned by daring to show up, by daring to build. Every brick you lay, every choice you make, every boundary you set is a declaration of worthiness. The more you live like you deserve it, the more life expands to meet that belief. And soon, you'll look around and realize you're not just building the life you deserve, you're living it. There's a simple truth about growth that most people don't want to face. The life you want is on the other side of things that feel hard. Not impossible. Not unbearable, just hard. And every single day you get a choice. Are you going to run from the hard things, or are you going to face them head on? When you wake up in the morning and tell yourself, "I'll do one hard thing today," you are setting the tone for a life of progress. You're telling your brain, "I don't need to conquer everything at once. I don't need to have it all figured out. But I refuse to stay stuck. I refuse to hide from discomfort. I refuse to settle." The reason this mindset works is because growth doesn't happen in the comfort zone. Growth happens in resistance. Just like your muscles get stronger by lifting heavier weights, your mind gets stronger by facing harder challenges. But here's the mistake most people make. They look at the mountain and get overwhelmed. They think they need to climb the entire thing in one day, and so they freeze, they procrastinate, they avoid. But when you focus on doing just one hard thing today, you're breaking the cycle of avoidance. You're shrinking the mountain into one step. And that one step leads to momentum. That one step tells your brain, "See, we can do hard things." And that evidence builds confidence. Doing one hard thing today doesn't mean you need to radically change your life in 24 hours. It means you make the phone call you've been dreading. You send the email that scares you. You go to the gym even when you don't feel like it. You sit down and work on that project instead of scrolling your phone. Hard doesn't have to mean huge. It just has to mean uncomfortable. Because discomfort is the doorway to progress. Every time you choose to do something hard instead of easy, you're training yourself to stop running from life. You're teaching yourself that fear, resistance, and doubt don't get the final say. You're proving to yourself that you can feel the discomfort and still move anyway. Think about how much of your life has been shaped by avoiding hard things. The conversations you didn't have, the opportunities you didn't take, the goals you didn't chase. Avoidance doesn't protect you. It traps you. Avoidance keeps you in the same cycle, replaying the same problems, living the same days on repeat. But courage cracks the cycle. Courage says, "I'll lean into this even if it scares me." And here's what happens when you commit to doing one hard thing every day. You stop being afraid of hard. The things that once terrified you become normal. The challenges that once felt impossible become doable. You expand your capacity, and suddenly the life that once felt out of reach becomes accessible. Because it was never about ability, it was about willingness. There's a part of your brain designed to keep you safe. It loves comfort. It loves predictability. That part of your brain will scream at you every time you face something hard. It will throw excuses at you. It will whisper, do it tomorrow, do it later, do it when you feel ready. And if you listen to it, you'll stay stuck. But if you answer back with, no, today I'll do one hard thing, you take back control. Hard things build resilience. Hard things build grit. Hard things remind you that you are stronger than your excuses, bigger than your fears, and tougher than your doubts. And the more you lean into hard things, the easier life gets. Not because life suddenly becomes simple, but because you become stronger. Look at the people you admire, the ones who inspire you. They're not extraordinary because life was easy for them. They're extraordinary because they faced hard things and refused to quit. They embraced the grind. They leaned into the discomfort. They kept showing up when most people gave up. And you have that same ability. You just have to choose it daily. So ask yourself every morning, what's one hard thing I can do today? And then do it. Don't overthink it. Don't wait until you feel motivated. Just do it. Because action comes first. Motivation follows. You don't need to feel ready to start. You need to start to feel ready. And the beauty is one hard thing each day compounds. One uncomfortable decision leads to another and another and another. Over time, those small acts of courage stack up into massive transformation. Your confidence grows. Your resilience grows. Your results grow. And one day you look back and realize you're living a life that once felt impossible, all because you made the choice to do one hard thing today and then again tomorrow and then again the day after that.